now, hopefully. Hare Krishna. So I welcome everyone in today's Shri Īśopaniṣad session, which is hopefully Hare Krishna. The mercy of Srila Prabhupada Ji. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Let's do Mangalacharan. Feel free to join me, and we shall resume Shri Īśopaniṣad mantra 11 after that. Ajnanatimirandasya Jnana-Jana-Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobesham Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Yuda Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatha Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhavitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kirpal Sindhubhyaiva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshitarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Gurudev ki jai, jai jai Shri Radhe Shyam. Hare Krishna everyone. So we are doing Shri Īśopaniṣad, and very quickly where we are, as we always remind ourselves, and it's a good idea to remind ourselves because we leave a week in between. So invocation mantra Om Purnamada Purnamidam, which is a very renowned mantra. Whenever we do any ceremony, we always use this mantra, and this mantra is one of those mantras which is very close to almost all the 6 Vedantic schools, and 2 of them are very renowned. One is Advaita, which is the predominant of what Swami Vivekananda followed, and Dvaita, which is Srila Prabhupada preached. And what the Upanishad and Purana says that the goal is the same. So Upanishads, they usually focus on Brahman, which is Advaita, and Puranas, they usually focus on Dvaita, which is Bhakti Marg. Advaita is Jnana, Dvaita is the Bhakti. And like what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, that I'm approachable from both, but Jnana is a very difficult route. But at the end, the seeker, the spiritual seeker on the Jnana Marg will also reach to me. But that route is actually very, very tough. But bhakti, is very easy. Hare Krishna. So, excuse me. Hare Krishna. So, Prabhupada ji said this famously that bhakti is simple. And somebody said that, Prabhupada ji, if bhakti is simple, why don't we get it? Because Prabhupada ji said, because you are not simple. And that's so true that we have made our life so complicated these days. But if we could live simply, then bhakti is simple. And we have seen Tukaram ji, Mirabai ji, Surdas ji. There are so many traditional spiritual, if we say enlightened being, they have been the teachers and the gurus of many. And if you see the example of Srila Prabhupada ji, when he used to live in Vrindavan, when he used to live in America, and even here in Watford in Bhaktivedanta Manor, where if we go and see his room where he used to live, and all his possessions are there, they are very simple. Like he used to have a watch in which he had his spiritual masters, his guru's picture, and then his bed is simple. He just got the books around. He just got the bead bags there, and that's it. If we see, I've seen his room in New Vrindavan in middle of France, his room in Vrindavan in India, and they all the rooms they are very simple. So Srila Prabhupada ji is not, or if we say, he is not only the walk to walk, well, not only talk of his walk, but he actually did what he said, which is very powerful. Because these days we find many preachers, many spiritual masters who just say something but do something else. But Srila Prabhupada ji actually did what he preached, and this is why he suggested that all of us should be. And if we are not there, then we should honestly accept it, because not everybody is enlightened being. Everybody. So the way we could do, the way scriptures do the differentiation and the bhakti is like we are neophyte. Neophyte is somebody very new, kanishta, and then intermediate, madhyam, who knows the path, who has started walking, and maybe most of us are there, but has not reached there. And there are number of, so there is a wide range of intermediate, madhyam, adhikari, like the devotees, the class of devotees. And of course, then there are pure devotees who are uttam adhikari, like our gurus. So if our aim and objective is to reach to uttam adhikari and we are madhyam adhikari, then we have the spiritual practices to follow, which could be anything from cooking for Krishna, preparing the temple for Krishna, serving in the temple, various services. This could be any service, book distribution, prashadam preparation, even at the parking, the devotees are helping out. And there's no service which is better than any other. And Srila Prabhupada made it so clear that the person who is doing the service of a priest, so it's not that the person is priest, person is doing the service of a priest, and there's another person who might be cleaning the temple. There's no difference. The only difference could be in the consciousness. It could be the person who is cleaning the temple is thinking about Krishna and is thinking that let me clean this temple best of my ability, because Krishna's devotee is going to come. Today is Sunday, many more devotees come. They should get the best experience ever when they will come and meet Krishna in this temple. And there could be another devotee who's doing the priest. So it says it takes like roughly 2.5 to 3 hours to prepare the deities at Bhaktivedanta Manor. It could take less or more, but roughly on average, let's say 3 hours. So 3 hours, one priest and sometimes two priests with the deity, and it says the deities are the God, the Krishna, and of course we have Hanumanji, Lakshman, Sita, and Lord Rama there as well, Bhaktivedanta Manor. And they are, so the God is manifested in the idols there. So there is not different. And if somebody is spending, and this time is like a Mangala Arati time, even after Mangala Arati, when Mangala Arati happens, so Mangala Arati finishes maybe 4:45, And then the curtains closes. Behind the curtains, the dress gets changed. And 3 hours, 2.5 hours spent there alone with the deities. Beautiful time. But maybe that person, if the person is thinking of Krishna as a service, how grateful, full of gratitude, that's a great thing. But if the person's consciousness is something else, might be thinking of some other thing, then it's the consciousness which matter, the intentions which matter, not the kind of service we are doing it. The kind of service we're doing it might affect or enhance and improve our consciousness, but is the consciousness and the intentions which is the prime aim and objective, which we should always look for. So anything and everything we get from here, from spiritual, how we find out that whether we are progressing spiritually or not. So maybe we come once in a week, we spend so many hours. So we've been running this for years now, and well, some of us are regular. And how to figure out whether we are improving? Is the time we spend, is a kind of investment there, and what do we get in return? And the yardstick is whether our consciousness is improving. And another factor could be whether we are a bit close to Satyachitta Ananda, whether we are a bit more happier about it. The circumstances might be very similar, but the attitude we have towards those circumstances has changed. And because of those changed attitudes, we are much more happy. And not only we are happy, the people who are close to us, they will see those changes. Those changes will be visible. Maybe we are more smiley, maybe we are more helpful, we will speak politely, maybe we are always ready to serve. So all those kind of different. And when we do nectar of devotion and nectar of instruction, we will see the elements of bhakti which develop in a bhakta from Rupa Goswamiji. Rupa Goswamiji is one of the prominent acharyas out of 6 acharyas in Vrindavan, who put together many shastras. So we will see nectar of devotion, nectar of instruction after Shri Īśopaniṣad. Now coming back to Shri Īśopaniṣad. Invocation mantra, Krishna is Purna and we are Purna. Īśāvasyam principle, everything belongs to Krishna. Let's live with harmony in that principle and hope we will not be in disharmony. But it's the law of nature. If we will do something wrong, wrong thing will happen or to us. And if wrong thing has happened to us, we don't remember what wrong we did. We need to understand we might not remember it, but definitely we did something wrong in the past. And it's good. It's good. So I think it was Aryan who threw something and I wasn't looking and it just hit me here. And he said, sorry, Dad, I wasn't meant to. And I thought, that's okay. That cut down some of my past karmas, right? So this way, we could always be happy, even though it was painful, but that pain was bodily. But if our consciousness is that this happened because of our some past karma, because we have felt the pain now, that means some of our past karma has gone down. And there's I think we did 3 sessions on the cycle of karmas. Maybe it's worth doing that again at some point, maybe in between when we will transition from Shri Īśopaniṣad to nectar of instruction, we will see that. And because it's very important, people get very, very, very confused how law of karma works. And obviously, of course, a lot of people these days, because karma is one of those things which is evident and people see it. Somebody got a job, somebody got a promotion, somebody got foreign trips. It's very evident, and because of that we think, the karmas are good or karmas are bad. Of course, what Srila Prabhupada said, that we might not know the previous karmas which we have done, maybe in this life or the previous life. And Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam, Rajesh Prabhuji. So good to have you. Thank you for your presence. We are doing Shri Īśopaniṣad and we are on mantra 11. So feel free to chip in. It will be great to hear from you, as always. So we are just doing a quick recap. So mantra 4 to 8, that Ishwar could be understood from his spiritual vision. 9 to 11, what we did, right and wrong vidya, and we are on number 11. So very quickly, I will go on 11. This is the point which has been explained in this mantra. The main topic of this mantra is that Chaitanya Charan Prabhuji, Radhesham Prabhuji, and another Prabhuji on Hare Krishna TV, all those three presentations which I have put together here, all of them, they emphasize a lot on this, that we have seen the example of Raman, we have seen the example of Hiranyakashipu, both from demon family, demon ancestry, but what matters more for us is demonic consciousness. And what is demonic consciousness? That we can live ever after. Even though Krishna explained very nicely in many verses, but this is one of the verses, that dukh alyam ashashvatam. So it says that it's happy ever after. Well, so dukh, happy, but Krishna says, no, it's not happy. It's a dukhalyam. It's a place of miseries. And we know threefold miseries. And it says ever after. But Krishna says, no, it's not shashvatam, which is eternal. It's ashashvatam. This world is temporary. This experiences we explore here on this material world, on the material planet, they all are very, very, very temporary, and we have seen it. Of course, Krishna has said here, Krishna has said in Bhagavatam as well. We have seen many other examples. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 33, also Krishna says, Anityam asukham lokam. Anityam, like it's not nitya, and asukham, it's not sukham. Lokam, this place is anityam asukham. Then we know chapter 5, verse 22 as well, that yehi samsupesha jaboga dukkha yonya evata. So dukkha, this yoni is full of dukkha, right? Adi antavanta kanteya nateshu ramate buddha. So somebody who's ramate, so somebody who's engrossed here. Adi antavanta. It's not going to stay for long, forever. So number of times, number of places, chapter 5, chapter 8, chapter 9, these verses, and in Bhagavatam also we have seen it. The whole idea here is that this place is not eternal. This place is not sukhalyam. This place is actually dukhalyam. And of course, this is what the scripture says. We can see it aligns with our experiences as well. I'm sure you would have seen it. Anything new we would buy, it could be a house, it could be a car, it could be a new mobile, new dress, and maybe a holiday. We all enjoy it. But what happens after a while? What happens? It converts into dukhalyam. And dukhalyam could be when we get detached from it. So let's say nothing else was wrong in it, but at some point we have to leave the house, or house will leave us, or we leave the house. How many different, especially the old people, if we see, I say old people, we can't say that now, senior citizens, but somebody at the age of 65, 70, they say, oh, I can leave my children, or children leave them, because it's a gradual process. We can see children these days are getting detached from the parents, and spiritually it's good. But material, of course, parents, they become very remorse. They don't want to, they still want their kids to get attached from them. But so it's easier in some respect for their children to go away, because gradually it happens. And we always say, oh, this is the modern age of Kali, quarrel and hypocrisy. So there's no surprise that the kids are going away. But what about the house? What about the possessions? Because they don't go gradually. Even if our own body we see, if the hairs, they go gray, we paint them. If the tooth or teeth will get, we replace them these days. Cosmetically, so many changes we try to do to our body. But as long as it's to keep us intact, that's a different thing. That, of course, we should take a shower to keep us clean. We should do the exercise to keep us fit. But the reason is not that we want to gratify our senses, but so we could serve Krishna and Krishna's devotees. And this was Srila Prabhupada did till the end, till the end. And all his disciples, if we say, like His Holiness Jayapataka Swamiji, Guru Maharaj, Radhanath Swamiji, Krishna Gopal Swamiji Maharaj, all these senior devotees, and there are many more. Tamal Krishna Gopal Goswamiji, they served so intensely, selflessly, and that's why we call them Uttamadhikari. They are the best. They are the pure devotees. We know that in their consciousness they have nothing, because they were covered by devotees 24/7. They didn't have any life. And the way it says in our Vedic scriptures that the sannyasi is not supposed to stay at one place, we have seen the example of His Holiness Swayam Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj ji here, who used to be, who was our local hero, who is still is, but of course now he is His Holiness. And since he becomes sannyasi, he travels, because that's a command, that being a sannyasi, so he's not attached to. I mean, he said that I used to say that Bhaktivedanta Manor is my home, but since I've taken the sannyas, I can't say that anymore. So he had left everything anyways, his family, his possessions. He'd been there for 20 years now. 20 years he'd been there in that temple. And now he can't even say that temple as his home. And he travels all over the place, all over the place. So somebody said that we are lucky if he stays here for 2-3 days. Even within the country he travels, but of course we know he travels overseas as well. So one thing, if you remember, is that it's ashashvatam, and because of that, we Dukhalyam, chapter 3 at the end, Krishna says that everything, all the anger and all the dissatisfaction happens because of contemplation. And what happens due to contemplations? The attachment. If we don't contemplate, we will not get attached. If we will not get attached, then of course we will not be happy. We will not be unhappy. So that's where Srila Prabhupada says that immortality is impossible materially, but it's possible by Krishna's teachings. Now, what does that mean? We have seen some of the examples that, like we have seen the example of Maharaji, Keshav Maharaji. He travels, and now wherever he travels, it looks like he's leaving his legacy. And even when he will leave his body, people will still remember, right? His consciousness. It's like he's going to live forever. And this is what Srila Prabhupada said, that where I'm going, when his disciple says that we can't live without you. And he said, where are you going to go? I will always live here in the books, as long as you will read those books. So it's up to you to get my association. And Srila Prabhupada has given us the whole program of deity worship. If you see in the temple, even in the household, like me myself, I can give my example. I live in South London. The temple is North London. We can't travel every day, but every morning we connect for Mangala Aarti, for Guru Puja, and we follow or try to follow all those scriptures. Of course, the timings could be a bit different, but try to follow what the temple does and feel like we are connected to the temple. And of course, there are so many temples. And we have seen and we've discussed briefly that there are 4 different stages. And what Srila Prabhupada said, if we will not bow down to Krishna, we will have to go down to material nature, which we always do, because we are limited. This is another little book by Srila Prabhupada out of many books he put together, Beyond Birth and Death. And Nahanyate Hanyamane Sharira. So we can't save the body, but we can. We can't do anything for the soul. Soul is always there, and that's what we need to realize. That's why it says self-realizations. So we have seen the 6 changes, and we don't have control over these changes. And sorry, I'm going quick because we have already discussed this in the past. Today we would like to do Radhesham Prabhuji's presentation, which is in the form of flow chart, which will concisely cover all the points today. So duration, intensity, variety, and extent we have done. This is what, if I take the next slide, this is what Srila Prabhupada always used to say, that this body is a bad bargain. but let's make the best use of it. Now, Chaitanya Charan Prabhuji has explained that earth and kama seems to be the out of four, which says purushartha. So there are four purusharthas as per the Vedic injunctions: dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So, but most of the time these days people go for artha and kama. Earth, monetary, financial, if you say, and kama is the desires. And these are the two things people usually have. They earn the money and they try to fulfill their desires, which are usually sense gratification, like what we say, house, holidays, and sometimes people even do charity for the temple, but they would like to have their own name. And I was surprised. I did some charity and somebody said that, okay, Prabhu, I will put your name there. And I said, what for? I said, well, so people will remember it. I said, so why? So what people do, people like to have their names there. And even actually at Bhaktivedanta Manor, we have many slabs. If we enter right at the back, there are some devotees' names there. But we will see most of them are actually not devotees. And of course, as the congregation, we all are thankful for those who have donated for the temple. But having their name on it, we can think that what could be the consciousness. But of course, not that everybody wanted. It's just that temple also promoted that because of course it's a kind of marketing that of course others will see, those who might not be in that consciousness, they see somebody else's plate there and they say, it would be great if my plate could be there and my family's plate there. And I remember many years back how I visited a particular temple in Vrindavan, and my mom was with me, and she showed me like our family ancestors gotra. So we had Bharadwaj. I think something related to that was there on that temple. But the whole room was full of those plates. Of course, I think in India it's a very normal thing to do, but which might not be that common here. But at Bhaktivedanta Manor, we have right at the front, if you enter on the right hand side. But that place in Vrindavan where I went, not all throughout the temple, but one particular room was there where all the 6 places you will see, so all the 4 walls and top and bottom, ceiling and the floor has the names. What that says is that somebody has spent the artha for the kama. However, mind it, that's actually a bit better compared to spending just for your own. But what would be even better if we have dharma added to it? If we add dharma to artha and kama, once we will add dharma, religion, then we understand that we are not doing any favor. Like what Bhagavad Gita says, but one of the beautiful ways of explaining that this is, in Hindi is called rin. And in Sanatan Dharma, in Vedic culture, we say we have many rins. We have Matra, Pitra, Rin is like the debt we have. So our mother and fathers, they have given us birth. So we do need, it's our responsibility to do something for them. Not because we can, because we should, because of this debt we have. Similarly, our gurus, our acharyas, and the society as well. So the donation, the charity we do for the temple, it's not that we are doing anything for them. It's like because of the common environment, because of the society, this society which has supported us, this is a rin, this is a debt which we are repaying back. It's like when we have repayment mortgages, then we don't feel thankful. Well, we could feel gratitude they have given to us, but we don't want, we are giving this money back to the bank and bank should be thankful to us. No, but of course, when we do the charity to the temple, sometimes we do feel that temple should be thankful for us. But no, Krishna consciousness, there is no thanks. In fact, we should be thankful to Krishna that Krishna has given us the skills, the knowledge, and the Lakshmi, which we could return it back to whom it belonged, which is to Krishna, and of course the society which helped us. So what it says, that if we are obsessed, so worst use of the bad bargain will be if we are obsessed with earth and karma. And earth as karma means that we earn money and we use it for our own personal desires. This will lead to spiritual degradation and material devastation, which means that materially will not be happy. Of course, if we will just go for sense of gratification, our body is going to go down. Many people enjoy so much of the food, and then what happens then? Very soon they realize that their body is going down, and then a lot of pain comes out, and then they have to work so hard to get rid of that fat, and sometimes unfortunately they develop the diseases. But if we understand, if we take care, and our acharyas have explained very nicely, which we will see later in Nectar of Instruction and Nectar of Devotion, that the money we earn, how we should spend it. So a percentage for ourselves, percentage for our family, percentage for our society, percentage for the temple. And if we live that way, then not only that we will be happy, the society will be very, a common word we use these days, very sustainable. And this has been environmental, sustainable. These words, they have always been in our culture. And that's why if we see even ages ago, when we used to have diyas at Diwali, they used to be made up of clay, and we will use it once and then we will throw away. And this is completely sustainable way of celebrating Diwali. And the similar thing at the time of birthday cakes, we don't blow down the candle, we lit a diya and we leave it with the Krishna as the blessings. So earth and karma, what we need to do, we need to add dharma to it. We add dharma to it. And then, of course, if we can reach to the moksha, and moksha is not only that, most of the time people understand moksha as that we're going to leave our body. We will leave our body and we will get moksha, which means we will not get the birth back as the human or in this material world, which could be true. But then how about having moksha before we leave this body? How about that concept? Which means that our consciousness here itself shows that we are not going to take the birth. How somebody would know that whether this particular person or maybe himself, herself is going to take the birth back again? We can see our life. We can see if we are attached to anything. Because if we are attached to anything, at the time of death, we will be thinking of that attachment and we will come back due to that attachment. We have seen the examples of many examples are given. The examples of Gajendra Moksha is there. Chitraketu Maharaj's example is there. The example of Bharat Maharaj is there. There are so many examples where the person was leaving the body by the time of, because of the attachment, thinking of something, and Antakale, at the end, what we are thinking, that will be the essence of the new belief. So Ketva Dharma is that when we do something for the benefit of some, we have hidden agenda. We don't want that. We don't want Ketva Dharma, which is like a cheating dharma being explained in Bhagavatam. So we need to be in bhakti, and because of the bhakti, the dharma, the true identity. So it's, we call it ego. Ego is false identity. False identity. Identity is what we are. False is what we are not, but we think we are. So what we think we are the owners. And what we are the servants. If you think about it, and this is what somebody said to Srila Prabhupada, I'm not a servant of anyone. I'm not a servant of Krishna. No, it's because, of course, servant as a word is very degraded. When Srila Prabhupada said, oh, we all are servants of Krishna. I said, no, we are not. I'm not a servant. And then Prabhupada said, okay, and this is what we said, that you will have to bow down. I said, well, are you servant of your own body? He said, no, my body is my servant. Prabhupada said, okay, can you ask, so what is the relation between the owner and the servant? The owner tells servant what to do, and servant obey. They say, well, can you ask your body not to breathe for a while, not to have food for a while, and maybe sit for a couple of hours at one place and not have pain at all. And the person said, no. I said, why not? Can't you ask your servant to do and not to do something? Can you ask your body to stop beating for a while because the heart is there? I said, no, I can't do that. I said, well, okay, so you don't have any control over your body. That's right. I said, but at the same time, your body asks you for the food and you have to eat food. That's true. So are you not the servant of your body? Don't you have to listen to your body? Well, the person said, yeah, that's right. This is a very similarly, Krishna has put together this material world and this material body. Krishna has said this, I'm not under the affection of this guna, which is goodness, passion, and ignorance. I am transcendental. I'm beyond them. And they all work. The Maya. Maya works under me. Right? So there are many verses there in Bhagavad Gita explaining that. So this is what we need to understand. And then the person said, oh, right, okay, I understand. If Krishna had created the material world and the material body, and the material body runs due to the laws of Krishna, and I'm governed by it, I'm forced by it, then of course I can understand I'm the owner, even though I consider myself as owner, which is the false identity, and that identity is called ego. True identity is what we understand by glories of bhakti. Karma yoga, bhakti yoga, and jnana yoga. So in karma yoga, we abuse the senses for material purpose. People keep working and then they desire. It feels natural to them, but they get binded. Don't we all get, we do things and then we become, because we have done it, a lot of time we say, oh, well, it was better if I wouldn't have done it. Once you have done it, you have said something and that's it. We are trapped in it. But well, jnana, if we say, jnana rejects senses for material or spiritual purpose. Non-binding, live in the forest, but it's unnatural. So what Srila Prabhupada said, that we have to engage our senses. What jnana says, disengage your senses. If somebody can do it, great. But it's very unnatural because our senses are there. Our eyes are there to see what we will see. That's the reason people go on top of mountain and in the cave. The eyes will work, but there won't be anything to see. There won't be food to taste, right? There won't be any distracted music to listen. And that's the reason people would like to cut all of those down. But what Srila Prabhupada said, we can't go there on top of the mountain, in the jungle, in the cave. What we could do is we could live in bhakti. Such a beautiful way that we can engage all our senses in Krishna consciousness. And this is what we all can do, irrespective of our circumstances, irrespective of our age, whether we are a child, right? We do the prayers, whether we are adults, whether we are somewhere in the middle where we have to support our elder parents and younger kids, or maybe we are retired. We all can, because we got to do the actions. Whichever actions we could do, we could spiritualize those actions. We can keep listening. And that reminds me, I would love to share this video. This is from Gaurang Prabhuji, who is the director of Govardhan Eco Village. In Govardhan Eco Village is in Govardhan. Well, not Govardhan Vrindavan, but this place is in between Pune, Nasik, and Mumbai. So I guess it falls in Maharashtra, and maybe Ajayji would know a bit more. But if I will share this in chat, Hare Krishna. So this is the Bhagavatam Katha. This is in Hindi. Gaurang Prabhuji has done it in the past as well, but this is something he has recently started. So I think maybe day 5 or day 6 he has done it. and each is for 1.5 to sometimes 2 hours, well, roughly 1.5 hours. And he has done day 5, day 6, and beautiful the way he has done it. He has been doing it for many, many, many years. So if you would like to hear the nectar of Bhagavatam, then this is the one of the best place, and it's there on Hare Krishna TV. It's free of cost. It's on YouTube. You can rewind. You can go on back and forward. If you understand it, you have read it before, you can go on 2x and you can hear it much quicker. So, or you could make it slow so you can cherish. There are many Prahlad Maharaj, there are so many different prayers and so many different parts of Bhagavatam which we all can cherish again and again and again. So I just thought I will share with everyone, and I will share on YouTube as well for the benefit of those who are listening. But this is a whole series by Gaurang Prabhuji on Hare Krishna TV. I've just shared the day 1, but if we copy and change the day 1 to day 2, then the day 2 I think will follow. And so day 2 was done like 3 days back, and day 5 was done yesterday. So today is day 6, and we all could join live as well. So great way of understanding, and he explains bhakti so very well. Govardhan Eco Village, he's a direct disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swamiji Maharaj. And Radhanath Swamiji Maharaj himself has manifested bhakti in so many different ways. So this is from Radhe Shyam Prabhuji, mantra 11. So mantra 10 explains that the culture of knowledge has different results than the culture of ignorance. Of course, we have seen it. Knowledge and ignorance will have different benefits and pitfalls. But mantra 11, that both of them will go together. And basically, we have seen immortality. That's the main, and that's why we have talked so much about mortal and immortal. Main theme is the problem of repeated birth and death can't be solved by advanced of material knowledge. This is avidya. So all the scientists working together, and somewhere recently we read new technologies being developed. People can live longer, and people can live without diseases, and not by, well, you can do yoga, we can depends on the food we eat, we can do meditation, not through that, but through medical treatments people like to have. And I thought, well, this really feels very unnatural in a demonic way of what mantra 11 says, that we are trying to do everything, and this is like avidya, that material advancement is just to live happily after, even though we know we can't. It's a very simple thing. When we paint we color our hair, and we say that no, I'm not old yet, but the body is going down, and it's been explained. So, and if I will take to the next one, and of course the culture of transcendental knowledge is with there, and they go together hand in hand, because when we only have 24 hours in a day, and we only have limited time for transcendental knowledge, if we are spending time on transcendental knowledge, definitely we are leaving some material knowledge behind, and we are full of avidya about it, which is okay. There is a concept of FOMO, fear of missing out. A lot of people, they want to watch news, they want to watch so many soaps, and they say, oh, I'm just watching because I can discuss with others, so I will not miss anything. This is called fear of missing out, FOMO effect, FOMO. But what this mantra says, that it's okay, that's avidya, and we are happy to miss out on those things which are material in order to spend time on transcendental. And somebody recently, when we were traveling, we reached to one of our relatives, and his wife said that, oh, you don't watch that. If you will watch it, you will realize it's actually not bad. And I said, well, no, I don't disagree. It might be really good, but what I know, where I spend time, which is like transcendental knowledge, because I have a personal interest in it, what I do know for sure is what's better than that. And she understood, she accepted it. So I'm not saying that the serials are bad, movies are bad, and now and then we all do it. But most of the time when we spend in transcendental knowledge, whether reading, listening, discussing, we understand, not that that's bad, but this, we have transcendental knowledge, it's definitely better. So that could be good as well. So actually what she wanted to say is that, oh, those serials are really good, made very nice. I said, could be possible. I'm not conflicting that. But what I really know, where I love to spend time, is I'm sure is better than that. I'm not taking any faults in that. But the reason I don't want to spend time on it, because I have something better. And this is what Srila Prabhupada said it, and we all can understand. Srila Prabhupada said that, again, the difference between jnana and bhakti. That in bhakti, when we give somebody something of higher taste, hence the title of one of Srila Prabhupada's books, Higher Taste. What Srila Prabhupada said, that if you give somebody higher taste, you don't have to take which is of lower taste. People will automatically leave it. Isn't it true? So somebody might like rasgulla, and there is another maybe laddu. So the person who loves rasgulla, but eating laddu, because that's the only sweet thing around, as soon as the rasgulla will come, you don't have to ask the person to leave laddu. The person will automatically leave laddu and take a higher taste for him and her. And this whole thing, the only thing missing is people don't realize the true taste of Krishna consciousness. And how do we feel when we come in association with devotees? We realize so nice devotees are around. Of course, there are some bad examples as well. And Nitai Sevni, Mataji did, who is very famous from Vishakhapatnam temple. She was here at Bhaktivedanta Manor. She's still there in the country, and she did a session on Friday morning after Bhagavatam. She did Bhagavatam session after Guru Puja. And she said that of course, so the whole session was how not to pick faults in other devotees. And she said there must be something good about everyone. So let's focus on that. Maybe the devotee is wearing good. Maybe devotees is smiling good. Maybe devotee is punctual, might be doing something wrong, but might be punctual. There is always something good we can find about everyone. And if we focus on that, then we see the association is so great. And of course, majority of the devotees we will find, they are so helpful. Not only they like to personally get progression in their own spiritual journey, they always seek our association to help us as well. And this is selflessly. They don't get anything in return. The only thing they get in return is that maybe Krishna's mercy will increase, that this devotee has helped the other devotees. This is how it happens. So when we work in the company, what the senior managers will say, well, let's all work together for the common goal for the company. This is what Krishna is saying. We all are children of Krishna. Let's all work together to get liberated, to get self-realized, to reach to that level of bhakti where our consciousness gets purified, so we all can realize Sat Chit Anand. And this is what Vidya has been mentioned. So this is where in few slides Prabhuji has mentioned. So what Prabhuji, and this, if I go very quickly on these, because we have already done it, that transcendenting birth and death, attaining permanent life. Of course, materially it's not possible, which Ravan tried, and Hiranyakashipu tried it, many other demons tried it. But Brahmaji always said that even I can't have that. But spiritually, we can do it. Spiritually, our consciousness could be here, where we could realize that this body is going to go down anyways, which means we are beyond this body. And when we are beyond this body, we can realize we are soul, and soul is eternal, which means we are immortal now. So if we think in that respect, spiritually, we could be immortal in our consciousness, but materially, our body will always be going down. So the problem is there, the solution is there. And then the number two, role of Vidya and Avidya in this position. So the problem, so what is the problem? What it is, the body we can understand. Who imposes it? Material nature. How does it aggregate? How does it increase? The way we live life, right? The body is there. So what is it? It's material body. Who imposes it? Material body comes from material nature. How does it aggregate? By the actions we do. The kind of whether we do a dharma, artha, kama, moksha with the spiritual consciousness or material consciousness. It will aggregate either materially or spiritually. And that many examples been given. We have taken the examples of Ravan and Hiranyakashipu. What is the solution? If we don't want to live materially, what's the solution? Solution is that what Lord does for us. Lord has given. So when it says Krishna gave all the knowledge to Arjun, it was not for Arjun. It was for all the humanity coming forward. So Krishna has given so many. Krishna himself has taken incarnation in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam, explaining everything what we need to know. So what we have to do? Well, we need to understand what not to do, which is avidya, and what to do, which is vidya. And who accepts this solution? Well, the devotees will accept solutions. Those who are in association will accept. Who does not accept it? Well, those who are materially motivated will not accept this. And it's okay. We don't need to understand. We don't need to say anything bad about anyone. We understand they might not have reached to that consciousness, right? There are 30 people in the 30 students in a class. Teacher is not going to say bad thing or should not say bad thing about those who did not understand the math question. Oh, well, they haven't understood yet. It's okay. Let's try to explain it them again. This is what devotees do. When devotees go out and try to distribute the books, what do? Some people take, some people shout. Some people say, you are wasting your life. And some people will say, thank you so much for your gratitude that even if it's raining, the weather is bad, you're out there for my spiritual growth. And they are all different kind of people. So we do need to understand that. Now, we have seen how does it aggregate advancement of material knowledge. We have seen this. What it is, no one wants to die all disease, yet no one can avoid. Materially, if we only think of the bodily, who imposes it? Material nature. It doesn't give anyone immunity. So it's the nature of this. The material nature itself is that it's dukhalyam ashashvatam. So if you understand this is a problem, and this is how it gets, not that we don't need advancement, but we need to know that advancement should only help us in spiritual understanding. We have seen the example of Hiranyakashipu. We will go further. We have seen the example of Raman as well. What is Lord? Lord gives scriptures to remind the forgetfulness. There are so many scriptures being given. Chaitanya Charitamrita been discussed this morning. And sense bona fide service, Srila Prabhupada ji, our Guru Maharaj ji, they all are here. Krishna himself comes in his form and in the Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji's form. He comes around in so many incarnations to help us. What else he can do? What we have to do now, what the Lord has already done so much, what we have to do, what not to do. One-sided attempt is like we just let Krishna say, oh, you do it, not me. No, we have to do it up. We have to prepare ourselves to go back to Godhead, right? Spiritually, if you think about. And we have to study the scriptures. And it's so simple what we have to do. And we will see Nav Vidya. And maybe we will have one session on Nav Vidya, but again, it will come and we'll do Nectar of Devotion and Nectar of Instruction. Because then we will understand the true importance of we are understanding the importance of bhakti now, but then we will understand how to practice bhakti. So it's been mentioned that we need to do what we are doing now. We need to listen. We need to participate. We need to study scriptures. And even if it's one shloka, one verse every day, just continuous we need to hear. So maybe we need another session. So next Saturday, we will conclude this mantra 11 and we will go further. And so sorry, Kana said something. I feel that people have forgotten the concept of moksha. That's why they are more materialistic and engaged in adharmic activity. What's your philosophy? True. Kana, such a great point. You're right. People don't even reach to the point of moksha. And even when people do reach there, people just think of materially moksha rather than spiritually. And this is the whole concept. Well, I will park that question and we will discuss more this next week. So thank you for that. And thank you everyone for your association. And I look forward for your association next week. Until then, Srila Prabhupada ki jai,
Jai.
Gurudev Maharaj ki jai,
Jai.
Jai Shri
Hare
Radha
Krishna.
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare